Hey guys, Martínez here from NoFace Records, and today we're gonna talk about drums. I'm gonna show you how to make them fire. Let's dive in. First, select the right samples. Sample selection is a crucial part of the production process, so take care of this process. The best quality you can get from a sample, the less processing you will need to do. I personally love the sample sold by Kashmir, Noisu, Zen and Evolution of Sound. These are my must for every track that I make. One of the other things I like to do is sampling my favorite tracks. And by this you can use many isolating programs online. In this case, I love using vocalremover.org. In this case, with vocalremover.org, we can isolate only the drums and use them for our tracks.
And now we will try the tool Vocal Remover. In this case, we're going to the splitter section, browse my files. Let's say I'm gonna look a Sampacho track. Let's try with Amor. It's browsing, uploading file.
A few minutes later.
Okay, and now after waiting around 1 minute, we now have everything isolated, music, vocal, bass, drums. So in this case, let's say that we like the kick from Amor. Okay, we can play it, we can save it, and then we can use it on our tracks. You hear? It's like magic. And you can do this with whichever track you want. In this case, like I said, we're focusing on drums, but you can take the bass line, some vocals, and also some of the instrumentals if you want.
Also, make sure to make a folder where you allocate your favorite drum samples. So that way, every time you start a new track, you know where to go and save ton of time. Please, don't be lazy and tune your drums accordingly. And by that I mean your kick, your snare, your hats. Please check them, and if it's needed, tune them.
Now, if we want to easily know the key of our drum elements, in this case the kick, I present to you two options. Let's go with the first one, which is using this plugin by Waves called Key Detector. We only play the kick and then we wanna hit this up. Okay, the plugin says that it's in G minor. Let's see with the EQ, which is our second option. Voila, there you go. So you can either use Key Detector or an EQ in order to know which one is your key. In this case, with the EQ, we are looking for the highest peak. In this case, it was in G.
Hats and snares require different EQ and compression settings. For example, hats require a fast release and snare a mid to slow release for best results.
Now let's jump into my hats. In this case, I am using this transient shaper, and as you can see, I am adding a bit of attack, 6%, and 15% less on the sustain, because I want my hats to be really sharp and short. So check this with and without. Without first. And now, in comparison with my claps, I'm going a bit more conservative. In this case, I am adding a 7% attack and sustain only -3%.
drum loops without a strategy. Sometimes we add too many drum loops into our tracks, and that's only making a muddy mixdown. Why? Because some of these top loops may have some long releases which we need to decrease.
We have to always be strategic when we're adding new sounds. So not just because we are layering, it means we're doing a good job. In this case, I want this top loop to be, let's say, more like a background top loop, just to add more body. So in this case, we're gonna fix this top loop. Okay, in this case we lower the volume, but I feel it has still too much release of the transient. So I'm gonna go here in the transient section in Ableton and I'm gonna decrease it. Let's see how it feels with 60. Better, sharper. And I don't want too much body of this top loop. I'm mainly interested on the attack, on the principal hit of this, because like I said, this is a really secondary top loop that I added. As you can hear, it's something really subtle that adds a difference.
Sometimes one layer is not enough. For example, I like layering my hats. I used to have a center hat, really fat hat, and then I have one really hard left, one really hard right, but they are playing in different frequencies, so they don't clash.
And now, let me show you how I layer my main hats. As you can see, I have 4 layers. I have my texture, white, right, and left. And let me show you how it sounds with only one layer and then adding the extra layers. As you can hear, it adds a lot of extra body to my hats. They sound fat and they sound way wider. So my recommendation is only try to layer your hats. At least add a pair of one for left and one for right, and try to find different hats. In this case, I'm combining open and closed hats. And you can apply this in your hats, but also in your claps.
Once you boost your percussions, excluding the kick and bass, low cut your sounds and compress them accordingly. Always EQ, then compress, and then EQ again. Why? Because the compressor will boost some unwanted frequencies.
Going into my drum boss, as you can see, I am EQing, doing a low cut of unwanted frequencies, and then I am adding this compressor in order to glue all my drums. But after that, I am again EQing, only to make sure I don't have these unwanted frequencies back. So let's hear a before and after my glue compressor. Similar to what I did with my low end boss, I am bringing back to life some of the hidden drums I had.
Once you have all your groove, sweep down all your drums looking for silences. And when you have those silences, cut them out because there might be unwanted frequencies.
We all want to have a really dynamic and rich mixdown, right? And it's not always about adding new stuff, it's also about removing about silences, about emphasizing certain elements. So in this case, I have a kick fill playing in here. So what did I do in order to emphasize that kick and create a very dynamic and a better transition into my next section? I deleted all my claps, cymbals, top loops, snares, and percussions from this area. So here with these elements and without the elements. Boring, you see? And now without. Way better.
If your drums are still lacking of thickness, you must apply parallel compression. It's a mixing technique that adds a secondary layer to your drums.
And now let's jump on how I have my parallel compression set. Okay, in this case I am using an audio effect rack where I have my dry signal, and then I am adding a parallel signal with this compressor. So basically these settings are always the same, okay? The only thing that will change is how much I will add from this signal, and it will vary on every track. So in this case I have a ratio of 100:1, a mid attack, and a fast release, okay? So in this case I always start from minus infinite dB, and then I start increasing until I find my sweet spot. Let's try it. As you can hear, it adds so much body to our whole boss, and that's what we want. So always be careful about not using that much, okay? In this case I am using about half of the parallel signal, but like I said, it will vary from case to case.
Once you process your drums, dock them with the preferred fighting plugin below 100 Hz. My best choice is Kickstart 2, where you can easily sidechain everything below 100 Hz. With this technique, you help the kick to break through your drums.
And now, at the end of my drum boss chain, I have a side chain. In this case, I like using the Kickstart 2, and I am docking everything below 100 Hz on my drums. And you might say, but Markus, you are already EQing and removing those frequencies. Well, after all my chain, I might be adding still some low frequencies. So I want to get rid of all of that because I want my kick to be clearer. So it's something subtle, but it's amazing how my kick it's now a bit clearer. So let's hear with and without. As you can hear, we have a way clearer kick because we are removing everything in the drum buff that is below 100. Do you wanna hear what's in there? Check this. That's what is below 100 Hz.
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and let us know in the comments if there's something else you would like to learn. And make sure to follow our NoFace Academy, where we elevate the next generation of electronic music producers.